Hi everybody, Jason with the Pinup Podcast here, taking you through a recent find that I found on one of my classic bargain book hunting expeditions. This book is Voom, Classic Hollywood Pinups by Chris Chang. The foreword is by Mamie Van Doren, and a lot of these images, or all the images, came from the Cobalt collection. So I picked up this book, which is 280 pages of true pinup reference material, featuring a lot of Hollywood starlets from the different generations. I'm just flipping through here. As you can see, the print quality on this is excellent. The pages are really heavy, almost cardstock, and really well done. Some of the images aren't as clear, as crisp as you'd expect, but that's not the print's fault. It was the fault of the images. You'll see right off the bat, in terms of our table of contents, we've got things broken down into the different decades, 20s and 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, a little bit of the 70s, and really just takes us through what we would say now is vintage pinup, but during the time it was just life as it is. At the back of the book, we have our index that showcases all of the starlets, the models, as well as some of the people who influenced pinup or the eras, as well as a list of the credits for all of the images. You'll notice right off the bat that we have a lot of 20th Century Fox and Paramount and Columbia, because they own the copyrights to most of the images, and we don't see who the actual photographers were in most of these. So the reason I picked this book up was, one, because of the quality, and the images are awesome. I wouldn't have any problem in taking these images and cutting a lot of them out and putting them in frames, for frames. But the real reason I picked this up was because this is a classic reference book using real images from time frames. For example, this knife thrower set is of Joan Crawford in 1927, and we've seen the knife thrower set come out by Varga recently, which is a real popular set as he travels around doing his traveling pinup photography. We'll see a lot of the images have themes, and we'll see some more boudoir type shots. We've got some classic early 20s shots. We've got some real high glamour shots, and even as we go through, of course, in the 20s and 30s, we're all about glamour. As we get into the more current stuff, we see a little bit more cheesecake. Again, I like these because with each of the images, you have reference to who it was. Katharine Hepburn here in 1935. As we go through the decades, of course, a lot of the popular folks you'd expect to see in here are in here, with Marilyn Monroe. There's a couple notable people absent, but again, you'll see here 1948, Betty Hutton in a cheesecake shot. Again, this book, great reference material for models and photographers who are really looking to pinpoint specific eras, especially if we're looking at the popular eras. We have fashions of the time, the shoes, hairstyles, and makeup, all in true classic photography references. Of course, there's a lot of Marilyn Monroe from the 50s, and again, overall, a really good reference. I'll even throw in the Farrah Fawcett from the 70s, as the really pinup started moving away from classic pinup back in the 70s. So again, here's a quick look at some of the images. Again, classic Hollywood stuff from Maud, going backwards through the 50s and the 40s. Again, pick this book up. You can find it online for around $10. Great reference material. Thanks everybody for listening in to this quick book review. I appreciate it. Go ahead and visit me online at thepinuppodcast.com, or email for if you want to get a hold of me at all, Jason at thepinuppodcast.com. Thanks.